Hey, what's up everybody? So if you were in the market for a new mower, hold up, don't buy anything just yet until you take a look at the brand new Cub Cadet IntelliPower. Now I actually did a video on this a couple months ago. I'll put that card right here for you to check it out so you don't miss anything. But I don't think you're gonna believe how much you get with this mower for the cost of it. So I've basically used Cub Cadet mowers my whole life, never had any issues with them. I had an older one that I actually got rid of and brought this bad boy home. Now this is the IntelliPower. So basically what this is an update video. Where is it at now and how do I feel about it after using it for the last 3 months? Well, I'm gonna tell you, there's a ton of things that I love, which we're going to touch base on again. There's a couple things that I don't so much, which we're also going to touch base on. But at the end of the day, you'll know how I feel about this after using it and abusing it for the last 3 months. Now, another huge plus that I've noticed after using this mower for the last few months, when I had my older model, every time I would turn sharp corners, I would always leave grass behind. For some reason, it just wasn't able to cut everything smoothly when I was doing those sharp turns. Maybe it was the floating deck. However, with this new IntelliPower, I am able to make those very sharp corners and still be able to cut everything underneath that deck perfectly. Now, what I love about the IntelliPower technology is that if you were going through heavier or wet grass, don't worry about it. This is basically sending information to the motor saying those blades need more power, let's kick up the juice, and it does just that. Chunks behind. Not with this. The IntelliPower is smart, so if it needs more power to those blades, you're not really going to lose anything when it comes to speed, but it's going to send more power to those blades when needed. And I've noticed that a lot, so that is a huge feature that I am loving on this. Now, enough for me anyway was the seat design. On the older mower, what I would notice, it was made of a cloth, so every time it rained, it would get wet, it would stay wet, and then I'd end up with wet butt. I hate wet butt. But that is not the case with this seat. It's almost like a leather material, which it may actually be, but it's very comfortable, very soft, but yet keeps that water off. So all you have to do is blow it off with some air, and it's dry again.
No wet butt.
Now, another huge feature for me on this mower is that the Hydrostatic Drive, you get the forward and the reverse. So I felt like a peasant because all my neighbors had the larger mowers and they were able to use the reverse simply by putting that switch down. But I always had to put it on a shifter column. Not the case anymore. With the newer models of Cub Cadet, you get the Hydrostatic Drive reverse and the forward, makes it very, very easy to use. Which brings us to the deck. The older model that I had, it was a floating deck, had some wheels in the back. When I first noticed that there was no wheels on the back of this, I was a little bit nervous, wondering if this would be able to cut that grass nice and level without it swinging back and forth. The design is different on these newer motors, so you don't get that swing back and forth. You don't need that wheel. So even though it's sort of a floating deck, it is nice, it is balanced. You only have that one wheel up in the front, not the two wheels in the back, and it has worked perfectly the entire time I have been cutting it. Now, another big update on this model compared to my older model was, on my older model, I was not able to get a very high cut. So some people like to cut their grass a little bit higher. It doesn't stress the grass as much, where this right here, I can come all the way up and get a nice cut without stressing that grass, or I can bring it all the way down and scalp it so I never have to cut it again. Now, as I mentioned, the IntelliPower is sort of like a smart motor. Instead of having a throttle, you have an idle, you have a transport, and then you have a cut. If you're cutting, I would recommend bringing this all the way up. But if you're just in idle, bring it down, transport right there. Never had an issue with this thing starting up. Now, another couple cool features that I may or may not have brought up in the last video is, one, you basically have an autopilot. So if you're cutting and you don't feel like holding the gas pedal down the entire time, just give it as much gas as you want, push this down, it'll lock it into place, and now you can take your foot off and just use your autopilot. If you want to take that off, just push the gas down again or hit your brake. However, I would suggest you hit that gas pedal again, not that brake, because you're going to feel them. Now, another cool feature, if you just want to get off and pick up a hose or a toy that's in your way, but you don't want to shut this thing down, well, what you can do is basically put your brake on, push this down again, let go of your brake, and it'll stay in idle. You can get up off your seat, walk around, pick your stuff up, and then get back on. What's nice is you still have your brake on, you don't have to worry about going anywhere, but now you don't have to constantly turn it on, shut it off, turn it on, shut it off. However, if you don't do that and you get off your seat, well, there's a sensor there and it's going to shut the mower down as soon as you lift up the wet butt. Now, another great feature with the Cub Cadets that I've always had was the airflow coming out of the side discharge. They've always been so powerful. got a lot of distribution when it comes to that grass being kicked out of the side. Instead of clumping up, it literally gets spread out evenly. I love the features of these on the Cub Cadets. I know some other mowers have them, but this has always been the best that I have used. Check this out. Now another question I get all the time on the other video is, can I cut in reverse with the blades engaged? Yes, absolutely. Here's how you do it. This key right here, when you are sitting on the seat and your blades are engaged, bring this key all the way to the right, hit your triangle here, bring it back to the middle. That red light will kick on, and now you are able to cut in reverse. But here's the thing, if I want to shut this off, all I have to do is take my key and go that way again. It'll shut it off and bring it back to neutral. You can do this while you are operating the tractor, while you are cutting. You don't have to stop it, get off, or do anything. Basically, that is a safety feature, so when you go in reverse, you don't forget your cats back there, and well, you know. So what about the negatives of this mower? Is there any? Well, yeah, there was one that I found. My last mower was very, very smooth, very, very comfortable when you hit bumps or went over rough terrain. Where this one isn't bad, but you can definitely feel the bumps. The suspension does not seem to be as honed in as my older model. So with that, while you're going over the bumps or the heavier terrain, you're definitely going to notice that you are going over something that's not as smooth as, well, the front yard. Now really, that was the only negative I could find. Yeah, suspension is not as good as the older model, but everything else is great. It runs like a champ. I'm telling you, when you go in that heavier wet grass, you can feel those blades picking up power and just taking it down, and still maintaining the same speed that you were before you entered the wet grass. Now, do you have that newer technology? Yeah, but almost every new mower has that newer technology. You got to go forward, you can't go backwards. But here's the thing, when we do our 1 year review, 1 year later, I'll let you know if it's held up or if it has any problem, just like I'm doing right now. But as far as it goes with this today, 3 months after, I've absolutely loved it. It is a great, great cutting machine, and I couldn't be happier. All right, so there you go all. Let me know in the comments section, have you ever used this? Are you planning on looking at one of these? I really like it. I think you'll really like it as well. If you could please smash that like button if this video has helped you in any kind of way, that would be greatly appreciated. If you like these type of videos, don't forget to get subscribed, hit that bell notification, and we'll be back with more videos soon.